Now, in the past few years, several fires have been linked to faulty fridge freezers and tumble dryers. The recall of these defective products will now be managed by a new body called the Office for Product Safety and Standards.
Yeah, that's right. It's hoped this new organisation will speed up the time between recognising a problem with a product and removing it. Joining us now is retail consumer analyst Kate Hardcastle. Good morning to you, Kate.
Hi, good morning.
A big difference, a big change?
It's a welcome change. There's lots of confusion, there's lots of challenges. There's been many reports on why something like this is needed, so it's definitely welcome news. And that's born out of the fact that although there's many agencies, many charities, many procedures in place, there's not clarity. And the most important part in all of that is the consumer. Consumers very confused. They don't know where to get the messages from about product safety. Believe it or not, we've got over 40 domestic appliances normally in the average household. All of them have the potential to cause harm, and yet when they come with warranties and guarantees in the back, that's a piece of paperwork you normally throw into a drawer, isn't it? And you don't really register the appliance, which means you don't get information when there starts to be problems with those.
Well, just explain to us what happens when there is a product recall. What sort of information is sent out? What are they obliged to do?
Well, there are lots of different websites. There's the European Union website, local trading standards will get involved, but because it is local trading standards, that's lots of different authorities working together to try and clarify.
Website, do they?
And also it's very much down to the consumer to react to something they might have heard. The recall might be something you saw in store, or it might be something online or through social media, to then go and find out more information. So what this is going to look at is one body making recommendations, much more research, encouraging the consumer to get more involved, which I think is brilliant, and also making sure the information when there is a challenge and the product recall steps are standardised, very similar to that of the Food Standards Agency.
What happens, though, if you miss that letter that comes in the post about the recall? Because that happens a lot. I mean, what is the best way of ensuring that consumer knows what is going on with what their appliances are doing at home?
Absolutely, and they can only look at best practice. What are other countries doing, like America, which have good information, and also how can they gain information for the consumer? How can they have websites where if you've got to worry about your one product, you can instantly go on a website, click a button and report that. But the challenges are that sometimes we don't even give the information to the retailer to let them know we've purchased that product, and therefore the information isn't getting to us, and we're reliant on news outlets like yourselves to try and work out. But even in the case like Whirlpool, there were 4 different brand names concerned. So you might hear one brand name and not realise it's actually a brand name within your home. So this is going to help clarity, procedures, and make sure information's much more clear for the consumer.
Yeah, I should just say that Whirlpool have sent us a statement on this, saying that their extensive campaign has achieved a resolution rate more than 3 times the industry average for a product recall. I mean, maybe they are one of the better ones, I don't know. Just tell me, though, about the new group. What is the website going to entail? What can people do with it, and how can they interact with it?
Well, they see that their areas are going to be very much around the research they can do to improve the procedures, the body that they'll put in place that will bring clarity and will bring some formality to processes when there are recalls or product safety issues. They're going to engage the consumer, which I think is the most important part.
So you could go in and put your kitchen appliances in it, could you?
Absolutely. And not be worried that it's some kind of marketing tool. It's not about that. It's keeping us and our families safe. And generally make sure that they're following best practice, like I say, other countries and food standards.
OK. Kate, thank you very much for coming in. Sounds interesting.
Yes, indeed.
In the past few years, several fires have been linked to faulty fridge freezers and tumble dryers. Now the recall of those defective products will be managed by a new body called the Office for Product Safety and Standards. It's hoped this new organisation will speed up the time between recognising a problem with a product and removing it. Joining us to talk about it is the retail and consumer analyst Kate Hardcastle. So why did the government feel it was necessary?
It is necessary, and it's about time too, and there's been working parties and groups and charities all working and pushing for this. It's about getting information to us as customers sooner and being more proactive in making sure that the standards are set at a good rate that's across all practices, and making sure also we get information when there are challenges so we can do more to protect our family. That's what it's about at the end of the day. We've got about 40 domestic appliances in our houses, and we tend to be much more reactive to when there is a problem rather than proactive.
Well, you were just telling me that when we buy a new product, we take it home, we unpack it, but we don't fill in that little card, the warranty card, which comes with it. And why is it important to fill that in?
Yeah, it's really important because that will allow us to have our information on a database forget the marketing for a second, that actually can tell us when there is an issue with the product. And that's the problem we've got here with the situation with Whirlpool. They can't locate all the purchases of those products. Now, it shouldn't be down to just us as customers, and they've done a woeful job of actually explaining what that information is. It's normally badly photocopied in the back of a box somewhere. But if we can understand as customers that it's part of our job too to inform people we have these products, plus the retailers who have our details as registered, and then also help these charities and all the different groups, even trading standards, which is at a local level, pull together an effort to get product information out there when there are faults better. But if we can stop that altogether by having better working practices.
Let me just read Whirlpool's response, because they say they have extensive ongoing tumble dryer modification campaign that is out there. They've achieved a resolution rate, they say, more than 3 times the industry average for a product recall. We haven't got very long, but just tell me what you hope the new database would achieve. What would you be able to do on this particular database?
Well, they think it's good because it's against their industry standards, and currently the practice allows them to judge themselves against industry standards. What it means is there's still 1 million products out there with issues, and that's not good enough or quick enough. It's a safety issue. So it would mean that they would have to work to much more stringent controls, and the information would be with consumers sooner to let them know they have a product at fault.
Kate, very good to see you. Thank you for coming in and explaining it. It is coming up to 9 o'clock. That's all from Breakfast today. Dan and Louise will be here tomorrow at 6, as usual. But from me and the rest of the team, have a very good weekend.